Good afternoon, Doctor and my fellow classmates. We're from Group 3 going to present about our report on public involvement on household plastic waste management. Next slide. Here's our report outline. Next slide. I'll pass it to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you, Priya. So I'll start on the introduction part. Okay, first for the background. Worldwide in the year 2020, there will about 8.3 billion tons of plastic in the world, where some 6.3 billion tons of that is trash. From the amount, about 130 million tons of plastics will landfill or recycle. The current state of plastic waste management leaves much to be desired. Less than 40% of urban residents are served with waste collection services. The traditionally applied methods of dealing with waste, including burning, burying, and open space dumping, have been unsuccessful. Okay, we move to the problem statement. So there exists sufficient information on public involvement on household plastic waste management. There is also limited knowledge to determine how public involvement in plastic waste management correlates with reducing plastic waste and on landfill and reducing environmental impact. So for the research objective, to determine the influence of public involvement towards household plastic waste management and plastic related habits. Second, to determine challenges facing household management of plastic waste. The third one is to determine the impacts of household plastic waste habits on the environment. So for the significance of study, there is two. First one is significance to community. It is to increase public awareness on how to manage plastic waste. Second one is to significant to future research, which is provide a benchmark and a reference for future lawmakers and policymakers. So I will pass to the next presenter.
Next is literature review. First is issue of urban area household facing plastic waste handling and management. Is urban area household waste management. Second is commitment and awareness on urban area household waste management. Next. Next is urban rural household waste management. First is way of disposal. Next is mismanagement, plastic waste, and landfill situation. Next is awareness on urban rural household waste management. First is knowledge on plastic waste, and second is environmental impact. Next. Next is a type of household plastic waste handling public environment. First is concern, second is challenge, and last is habit. Challenge, first is mismanagement and lack of public participation. Okay, I will pass to next presenter.
There is 5 methodology in the research, which is interview, observation, open-ended survey, and focus group discussion. And lastly is document review. In interview, we use semi-structured interview and expert sampling. In observation, we use observe landfill area and observe household area. In open-ended survey, we use Google Form and convenience sampling. In focus group discussion, we use Google Meet and convenience sampling. Lastly, in document review, we need to access to the document, ensure credibility, and conceptual analysis and relation analysis. Next.
Thank you, Ain. For the data analysis, the first method is document review. Referring objective 1, the influence of public involvement towards household plastic waste management and public plastic related habit. The document review from a case study report shows a total of 12 randomly selected areas which show a result of 81.67% of household believing that the condition of plastic waste was in a poor condition, while for the public related habits show healthy public habit in household waste management, since the public practice plastic waste management through the identification of the type of plastic waste generated, estimation of average daily amount of generated plastic, and the majority of public use throw away plastic bag when shopping, while just a tiny percentage of clothes bag and reusable material. That's all for document review. I pass to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you, Vanita. Now I'm going to continue with the observation part, where the first observation were recorded for the landfill area taken from 8 different sites, which is 3 from rural side and 5 from urban side. Observation obviously showed that most of the landfill area at rural and urban side are well managed. So for the second will be observation for household plastic waste taken from 8 different households, which is 3 from rural side and 5 for urban side. For urban household area, majority recorded where the 4 out of 5 observation household participants practicing plastic waste management. And for the rural area, the majority household areas, like 2 out of 3 observations, showed majority of the household participants who were observed were not practicing plastic waste management. Next slide. For the second observation, we have observed a type of household plastic waste, which is for the polystyrene and low density polystyrene and polyvinyl chloride, PVC, polyethylene terephthalate, PET, and high density polyethylene, HDPE. So from the observation, it clearly shows the majority of the 8 household using and having low density polyethylene, LDPE. And the polystyrene PS recorded the least amount of usage in the 8 households, indicating polystyrene type of plastic is not regularly used in households. Next slide. I'll pass it to the next presenter.
Okay, for the interview, this interview session involved 4 employees from the Majlis Bandaraya Selatan Kuching for the urban area and Department of Environmental in Temerloh for the rural area. So the first team is about the public involvement. So all informant in the one mind when the question asked about the habits and public involvement, household public plastic waste management by saying that the public has been fully involved in plastic waste management. Informant once said that he does not think there is much plastic involvement in managing their plastic waste, and the public still have not done their part enough in managing the plastic waste. Meanwhile, informant too said that the public can do better with the some involvement by sorting out the waste according their waste type and sending it to the plastic collection center to reuse, that can reuse, recycle, and also they can burn the plastic waste or throw it away to the river. This is small action can reduce the composition plastic waste in the landfill. So the communities in the rural area have yet to play role managing plastic waste, is one informant. 3 said that when he or she being asked about the question, so the last one, the informant 4 said that she or he not think that the resident or the household in the rural area is not apply the better plastic waste management. So I pass to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. So for survey, we prefer using short answer rather than naked skill and multiple choice answer. So because we want to know respondents' opinion for our question. So we approached 20 of household from some states in Malaysia, and we are using thematic analysis for our survey data analysis. For objective 1, which is way of disposal to plastic waste, here are some answers from respondents. We divided into the 3 teams, which is throw, separates, and others. So the others, for example, is disposed of in a garbage disposal area, give the chickens, ducks, and burn the plastic, bury the plastic, and reuse. I'll pass to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you, Zuhaira. Referring objective to challenges facing when managing household plastic waste in urban and rural area. The document review from a journal shows that urban area face various challenges in disposing of their waste. The most common challenge was the problem of irregular collection of waste. This problem was common to those households dumping waste at approved dump site with waste containers, while rural area of the household facing serious problem in compliance with the regulation on waste management. It can be interpreted that the higher population with lower living standard and poorly developed waste collection service is the most big challenge facing when managing household plastic waste in rural area. That's all for document review method. I pass to the next presenter.
So the challenges from the interview session is the household from the rural and urban area is do not have enough care and willingness to manage. This is because we can see from the table, for example, the informant one said that the household did not separate the plastic waste and combine it in one plastic. And then informant two said that household habit that become accustomed to gather the plastic waste. And the third one, informant three from the rural area said that sometimes manage and sometimes not. I pass to the next presenter.
Okay, we will go to survey, which is for objective 2, challenges managing the household plastic waste. So all the answers from respondents for objective 2 can be divided into 5 themes, which is first, time limitation, hard to handle, habits, awareness, and improper handling. Next.
Okay, for the FGD, the challenges we have two rural and one urban, and then for their personal experience, all of them facing the challenges due to the lack of facilities and hygiene issue. For the management, most of them are agreed urban is better than rural. Urban have a good systematic system management, and then the frequency of collecting garbage is higher compared to the rural area. So next, I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you, Janima. Referring to objective 3, the impact of household plastic habit on the environment. The document review from the journal showed that the most obvious susceptible sites are those urban and neighborhood where household waste is not collected or where collection is incomplete or insufficient and where waste has a direct impact on the environment condition. While citizens have positive habit towards sorting recyclables at home, to increase the number of recycled product in order to reduce landfill waste and save the environment. Based on the document review, it can be interpreted that the positive habits towards sorting recyclable at home increase the number of recyclable products in order to reduce the landfill waste, give good impact on household plastic waste habit to environment. That's all for document review. I pass to next presenter.
From the interview session, all the informant agreed that inefficient plastic waste management has a negative impact on the environment. Informant one stated that the trigger the extinction of the river ecosystem. This is because if the plastic waste is dumped into the river, it will affect the river ecosystem in that area. While from the informant two, she that the pollutant from the plastic waste can cause the odor pollution and low soil quality surrounding landfill. In the rural area, which is from the informant 3 and informant 4, he said that impact of the organism diet and changing their behavior and reducing their survival rate. This is because the most of the plastic are synthetic plastic that mix with the oil-related product. Those combination are consistent from some of the hazardous can release its chemical to the surrounding. There are only small selection of the organism can consume plastic, which can make the another suffer due to the lack of the nutrition intake and attrition on health for consuming plastic, even in nanoparticle. So that's all. Next, I pass to the next presenter. So this is the example for the interview analysis DI. Next.
Okay, for the last objective 3 for survey, which is impact of household plastic waste habits on the environment, we want to know the extent to which respondents know the impact of plastic waste habits on environment. So based on respondents' answer, it can be divided into 3 teams, which is less concerned, concerned, and very concerned. As we can see here, that just small percent of respondents are less concerned for knowledge about impacts of household plastic waste habits on the environment. I'll pass to next presenter. Thank you.
All right, so for the impact, most of the informants are very concerned since they are applied to separate the waste and then care about the impact of the environment. One of them just concerned because the informant didn't apply to separate the waste, but still concerned about the effect of plastic waste. And they also mentioned the impact, which is the depletion of ozone layer, or the pollution and damaging ecosystem. So that's all. I will pass to the next presenter.
So next is triangulation and synthesis. Next. Okay, so we have 3 teams, which is team 1 is public involvement, which is a positive relationship of public involvement and plastic waste management problems, which are found in observation and survey method. So for the second negative relationship of public involvement and plastic waste management problems, found for the document review, observation, and interview. So, for example, observation, there is clearly shown for the observation and pictures taken the household participants do not segregate their plastic waste. For the survey, the significant relationship between public involvement and plastic waste management. So, for the negative relationship, for the document review, emphasize that there was negative correlation because of way of disposal, like throwing away and burning. So next is for the team 2 is the challenges of household and plastic waste management. So first is all the urban and rural households are facing challenges in managing the plastic waste due to a lack of facility and hygiene issues. This is from FGD. So second, the challenge that most households have to face is a time limitation, hard to handle habits, awareness, and improper handling. This is from survey. And the third is the issue of irregular waste collection poses a challenge to household to manage the plastic waste. This is from urban areas. Meanwhile, for the rural areas, this is because of higher population with lower living standards and poorly developed waste collection services. So for the last is not enough care and willingness among the household to manage their plastic waste, lack of investment for the government, lacking technology and manpower, which is the challenges for the household plastic management. So this is from the interview. Next, please. So for the last team is impacts on environment. So to assess the impact of the environment, formatted document review, interview, open-ended survey, and focus group discussion, and all the results show negative impacts on the environment because of plastic waste. So that's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Farhana. So I'll continue on the conclusion and recommendation. So next. Okay, there are 3 conclusion for the objective 1. Lack of public involvement in household plastic waste management, since a large percentage of household itself believe that the condition of plastic waste was in poor condition. For objective 2, all in the household which come from urban and rural areas are facing challenges or difficulties in handling the plastic waste. For the objective 3, household plastic waste has a direct impact on the environment, and plastic waste identified as the 3rd most common household waste. So it is not. Sorry. We also have a recommendation. So for further research, it is interesting to apply the same method on different municipalities and investigate which characteristic of municipalities has the most significant impact on the cost of all scenarios. We believe instead that of the major focuses on reducing plastic usage in urban areas should be a drawback, and policymakers should still implementing this plastic usage reducing policies at all areas, regardless urban or rural, and the legitimacy of the policy. Next. So this is our references. That's all from us.